YouTube, Sarkiel here, and this video is presently being recorded at HD quality at 60 FPS. And what this means is that every 60th of a second, my phone is taking a scan of the screen and the camera is uploading this scan to the logic board on the processor, and that is then compiling all of these scans together into one singular video, you putting 60 in for every single second of duration. Now, of course, these scans are not what you're seeing right now because they only record the data from part of the scans, because if they were to use the entire things, then it would take up way too much storage to be run on a normal Wi-Fi connection, so they use compression software. But anyway, that's not the point of this. So it's at 60 FPS, and while I'm watching this right now on my phone screen to check whether I'm in frame properly, it's playing back to me at 120 Hz on my screen. And what this means is that every 120th of a second, my screen is making a change. And the mode of media is recorded at different FPS. Most people don't actually know that most films are recorded at 24 FPS, which is pretty low, of course. It's less than half of this video's frame rate. But you don't notice that, though, with films, because if you notice, if something tends to move very quickly, you don't see the thing moving as one singular object. You see motion blur, as you can see here. Of course, there's motion blur around it, as your eye isn't able to process it fully in the time it takes for it to move. So it's moving too quickly, and this happens with film, and this tricks your brain into thinking that it isn't running at 24 frames per second, but it's actually running more quickly. And that's also why stop motion animation, especially old animations such as from the 1960s film Jason and the Argonauts, can look pretty almost janky because there's no motion blur, because remember, they're just taking a bunch of successive pictures. There's not actually any movement in between the frames in the same way as with a normal video, and so it doesn't look realistic because of that. Now, the human eye, of course, is seeing all of this, which is getting outputted at a certain FPS, but what FPS can the human eye itself see? Well, there's not really a proper answer for it, because the human eye doesn't work in the same way as a camera can, because the human eye doesn't take scans every certain amount of times per second, a bit like how the human eye's resolution varies depending on for how long you're looking at an object and whether you're talking about the center of your vision or the periphery of your vision, because it varies then between those. And so there isn't a definite answer to this, but if you really wanted to have a number, for most humans it would be around 100 or just below. But with training, you can actually get your frame rate up to more than 120, such as with pilots. But they don't actually see in higher frame rates, they're just trained to see things and process them more quickly than normal humans.